Hello, everyone. It is Coach Mo Fall, and I'm looking a little funky today. I know you might think I have like eyes coming out of my head. If you're watching me live, this totally makes sense because if you're watching me live, these ears coming out of my head, it's Halloween. So, of course, I'm going to talk today about wearing masks and how we naturally gravitate to Halloween because it is something that we as humans do all the time. So happy Halloween to all of you wonderful humans who are expressing yourself and changing your identity or enhancing your identity for one quick day. I'm going to take these monster ears off so I can actually have a real conversation about masks, but just one last time. So these monster eyes are glowing. You can't really see it in the camera, but they're glowing. And what they tell us is that at any time you can actually enhance who you are to play a part, to be the right version of you that you feel that you must be. And today I'm talking about take off the masks that you're wearing for more success. But before I get to that, if you're watching me for the first time, this is Coach Mo Fall. I'm America's kick-ass career coach and the founder and creator of one of the most awesome dream job movements, Bring Your Soul to Work. We believe that a woman who is soul-powered, who is coming from her highest self and her highest good, has the greatest opportunity to show up fully as who she is. If your career is languishing, if your career is in with all the dead worm stuff, if your career is the walking dead, we need to talk to you. If you're a professional woman with education, expertise, and experience, and your career feels like a mummy, then you're going to want to talk to my team, mofall.com/live clarity. The way we help you is by understanding the problem and then understanding what you want to accomplish. And if we can help you bridge the gap between where you are today and where you want to go, we might have a fit with my kick-ass career workshop where we help you get soul powered and bring your soul back to life. And then you can live from your soul's truth. But today we're talking about what prevents you from living in your soul's truth, and that is the masks that you have either put on to protect yourself, or you've put on because you feel you are supposed to be a certain way, or you've put on out of just sheer habit. As a professional woman coming out of the nursing profession, yes, I was a nurse at my very first job on RN, college graduate BSN. And as a matter of fact, I had to put a mask on when I graduated from college with the BSN. The hospital that I went to work at was part of the University of Pittsburgh, and not every nurse there was a BSN graduate. I think I made 10 cents more per hour by having my bachelor's degree. And it was sort of like a shameful thing. Like you totally didn't want people to know that you had a bachelor's degree because then they knew that you were making more money than them. So mask went on. How about another mask that I wore because I was a nurse, always having to genuflect to the doctors. And when I was a young nurse, 99.999% of the doctors were men, 99.9% of the nurses were women, and we were in a very traditional male-female dynamic. So I put on a mask, knowing I needed to be less than the doctors, put on a mask, knowing I couldn't be so smart, putting on all sorts of masks over the first few years of my career, trying to fit in. Not being too smart. I was a president of my class in college. I was the speaker at my nursing graduation when I graduated. So I was feeling pretty pumped up, but I put mask over mask over mask in order to fit in at work and to be successful. I thought I had to be a certain way. And I've got to say this, growing up as a kid, trick-or-treating for Halloween, collecting all sorts of candy, I grew up Catholic, and the Feast of All Saints and All Souls, which were the days after Halloween, were always really important feast days for my family and my mother. And obligatory masks right after sort of zoning out on chocolate candy. So this time of the year is always sort of one of those times of the year where we're celebrating the souls. We're celebrating the sort of the occult, the darkness of humanity, and we're sort of coming into feeling more comfortable with what might not be all that pleasant. And oftentimes the masks that we begin to wear by habit, the masks we begin to wear because we feel like we have to do a certain thing or be a certain way to fit in, those masks are covering up some of our insecurities. Matter of fact, those masks are probably trying to cover up all of our insecurities, all of our self-doubts. I had the opportunity to coach one of my private clients this morning and just really helping her be in her truth and be in her power, helping her realize after working together for the time that we have, she's making decisions from her power. She's making decisions from her higher self. And this is the true way to live and to work. Your career really requires you to come out from behind your masks, not just to be the messy version of you, but to be the highest version of you. You see, I think we're afraid when we pull our masks off that we're not going to be appropriate. So just checking in with you here. Are you afraid that you're going to say inappropriate things? Are you afraid you're going to be mean or nasty? Or are you afraid that you're not self-reflective enough or open enough to receive other people's ideas and thoughts in a way that feels right and good for all? Because if you're afraid that you have to govern yourself, there's probably some other things that you need to fix, clarify, heal on the inside for you to feel comfortable not to have to wear masks. This is the tricky part of mask wearing. You see, when we have a mask, we can actually sort of be a version of ourselves that we know is acceptable or polite or proper, and we're afraid if we pull that off, we're going to be a version that we don't really like. And that version of you needs to get healed. If you have a version behind the mask that you're afraid of being because she's not the best version of you, then let the healing begin. And this is where on this sort of occult, sacred sort of celebration of the dark side of life, that we can begin to accept the fact that we all have parts of ourselves that we're afraid of, parts of ourselves that we're afraid of exposing, parts of ourselves that we're afraid that other people will see. And I talk about these aspects in different ways, but today I'm going right in on it because Halloween gives us that opportunity to sort of see what we're hiding or what we're hiding behind. And either way, we're creating a psychological barrier between the real inner us and the outside world. And as a career coach, as someone who helps lift women, I see this all the time. Women have had to create masks and new and different identities because as women, being in our power is not something that comes so natural, and it's not something that we're taught naturally as young girls. We're taught to share, to people please, to be perfect, to get better grades, to really work hard on how we look to other people. And I can think of a few clients. One of them was in a big organization, director, senior director, really trying to get to that VP level, and was promised a lot, was promised next time, was promised next year, do this special project over here. And you know what? She got so worn out trying to be a certain way so that she would get the promotion. She lost who she was, and she didn't even know who she was. And meanwhile, what that causes is so much interior stress. When you're trying to play the game to so many different ways, you lose because you are stressed out, maxed out, and using a lot of inauthentic energy to keep yourself covered up. This is a lose-lose situation. But in many of the women who we talk to, and all of the women who we coach, This is something that goes on without us even being aware of it. We become so used to playing the part. We become so used to trying to be what other people think we ought to be that we lose our authentic self. And that's why I coach to bring your soul back to life, because that soul version of you, that version of you that is absolutely the authentic version, that version of you that many of our clients say they haven't seen for several decades. We are mostly working with mid-career women who have either missed out on opportunities for promotions or been afraid of them or scared that it might mean more work or that it might take them more away from their families. And in truth, the further up you go on the ladder, the more resources and the more leverage you have to actually work in a different way. So there's a lot of things for me to slice on this topic of taking off the mask. And I want to really give you some take-home pointers. I want to really give you some homework for the week. I love, 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 love talking about to-do items and the things that are really important for you to see what masks you're wearing. And it takes self-awareness. So if you're not interested in self-awareness or you're not interested in doing something better or different, you can move on. If you would like to know more about what you could do this week to take off the masks that you're wearing, I would love to talk to you about some very practical tips. I see we've lost several people who are not interested in doing something different. Here's the thing. Once you make a critical decision to take one of your masks off, or two or three or all of them, you're going to find in there a beautiful, awesome human being. And how do you take off your masks? Well, I'm going to tell you something. If you could tune in just a little bit more into your inner self, if you could give yourself a little bit more of a awareness of that inner voice, if you could watch yourself when you're feeling nervous, when you're feeling that increased adrenaline push. Now, you might be on adrenaline and stress hormones all the time, but you know what I'm talking about, that time where you feel sort of like pushed into that next level of stress response. I want you to be aware of that this week. I want you to be aware of when you feel yourself having to go into a stress response and cover up, because as soon as you go into a stress response, you're now acting in a way to protect yourself. Yes, and then finding a workplace that values authenticity is truly the way to go. But here's the thing. You ready for this? I'm gonna sling some truth here. So I want you to get ready on this. You can't find a workplace that values authenticity if you are too bothered and busy and taken over by having protected your authenticity for years or decades. You're not going to find authentic until you become authentic. I know. You wish it was the other way around. If I could find an authentic workplace, then I could change. Change does not work that way. Change works in you make the change first, and then you're the version of you that can actually attract and go into and move into an organization that would value that version of you. I know it's not what your ego and intellect want to hear, and maybe I'm going to lose you on this, but I'm going to tell you this. After handling my own career and moving up the corporate ladder and identifying what was holding me back, so much of what was holding me back was me being the supposed to version and not being the version of me that truly was inside. Now, I worked hard, got stuff done. I was a decent enough leader, but when I became more authentic of me, my own self became more authentic. I pulled the masks off. And if you've been with me over the last couple of weeks, a lot of that happened when I was going through my breast cancer journey. And this is why we do the work in my 12-week workshop the way that we do it. I help you lose the masks first week. First week, we dive into your true authentic soul. Now, most people don't get there on their own. They get there through disease, displacement, disorder, some type of chaos or calamity hits our lives and we're sort of forced into reconciling with who we really are. You don't have to do it that way. You can actually get into your soul by design. And that's the design that we have in our workshop. I'm not going to talk to you about the best career option for you until we understand together what your soul is all about. So we got to pull those masks that are protecting you off one at a time and help you see your brilliance. Help you see what's truly in there and what you truly want. Most of the masks that we're wearing are because we feel hurt that we haven't been able to achieve or be who we truly want to be. We haven't been seen. And so many of the clients we've worked with have also had challenges in their personal life that have caused them to put on masks and protective gear. Sometimes it's a full suit of protective gear. And when you walk around with that, spiritually, psychologically, you have all this protective gear on, you're going to be a little hard to work with. You're going to be a bit defensive. You're not going to be ready for that authentic workplace. Because if you're not authentic, there's no authentic workplace that wants you yet. So guess what? You have to get ready for an authentic workplace by being authentic yourself. You cannot just say, oh, I'm covered with all of these masks and I'm waiting for an authentic workplace to show up. That's like being at the wrong bus stop, expecting the right bus to come to that wrong bus stop. If you want to go to a destination, you have to get ready to go to that destination. You got to pack, you got to prepare yourself. This weekend, I went up to the Northeast to New England. I had to get ready by packing warmer clothes than I usually wear down here in Florida. I had to get my jackets, and we had an event that we attended on Friday night that required certain preparation and other clothes that we needed to wear. I had to get myself ready so that I could show up properly for that area. Just like your career. If you're not getting yourself ready by tossing out the masks that are holding you back, please don't just think that it's the external environment that's wrong. Part of the equation, if you're not in a workplace that values authenticity, part of that equation is you. And again, I might be losing listeners here. I might be losing people who don't want to face that, but I'm telling you the truth. Your masks are handy when you have to protect yourself. They are not handy when you want to be authentic and you want to be seen. They will prevent the very thing you desire the most. So you have to do the work to begin taking your masks off. And if you want to talk to one of my experts on our complimentary career clarity calls, you can absolutely book yourself an appointment at mofall.com/live clarity. On that call, we're going to help you see beneath the masks. We don't want to talk to the mask version of you. We want to talk to the version of you without the mask. And that's the way we can best serve you. If you keep your mask on, you're going to have a life that is going to be less than what you want. You're going to want to be authentic. You're going to want to be in integrity. And I'm going to throw out the second truth. So I gave you first truth. First truth is, if you keep your masks on, you will never find authenticity. You will not find that workplace for authenticity. And if you want to start seeing how many masks you're wearing, be aware of every time you go into a fight or flight stress response. That's a mask. Number 2, you must absolutely be ready to be honest with yourself. You have to take full self-responsibility. There is no version of you that grows into the version of you that you want to be without taking responsibility. Let me repeat that version of what I just said. Point number 2 for this week. You have to accept full responsibility. And yes, I'm going to share it. If you keep your masks on, you will never find workplace authenticity. Amen to that. And again, I want you to be really clear on what authenticity is. Authenticity isn't the mean, nasty, frustrated version of you. Authenticity is your soul, that beautiful sense of self who is talented and gorgeous and awesome and loving. And did I say talented? That's right. So number 2, you have to take full personal responsibility for your growth. You know, we talked to some women on our complimentary clarity calls, and again, that's mofall.com/live clarity. And they're like, well, I don't know. I'm going to see if my company will invest in me. I'm going to tell you this. I've had coaching from my companies in the past. It's their coach. If you want to change and be the best version of you, make an investment in yourself and have other experts help you see what personal responsibility looks like and feels like. Your soul wants to be free. But if you don't take responsibility for it, if you're looking for someone else to either take you off the hook or do some of the work for you, no. As a coach, we're going to co-create with you. We're going to show you the way because we're experts in what we do. We know the pitfalls. We know the scary rooms that we got to help you navigate out of so you can get into the right hallway. We know how to help you navigate that. But let me tell you this, you're going to be the one who's going to have to do the work. Self-responsibility. I'm a big sports fan and I love the football season. Brutal game. Sometimes that bothers me. But here's the thing. The best quarterbacks, when they get off the field after either throwing an interception or not making a first down and having to turn the ball over, they are on the bench with their coach and that iPad thing. I think it's actually a Surface Microsoft tablet. They are looking at the play. The best quarterbacks are taking full responsibility of what they need to do better in the next chance of downs that they have. They're not saying, oh, I didn't have anything to do with that. My receiver was an idiot. They take full responsibility. They take full responsibility. So your job as a human being to do is right for you, get your own coach and you do your own work. Yes. So you don't want a coach who is hired by someone else who has their interest. You want to be hiring a coach who's going to help you get your responsibility going and pull the masks off, get you into your authenticity and give you all the tools, the skills and the strategies to land that better job. And it could be a promotion in your current company. So many times we get clients who come into our workshop and they're like, hey Mo, you know, I really want to quit every single day. I want to quit. I want to quit. I want to quit. I want to quit. Oh my God, this place just sucks. La, 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 la. They do the inner work in week 1. They start realizing what they bring to the table. They start acting differently, being different because they're getting into their authentic self. And all of a sudden their work environment changes. In other words, since they changed, the people around them are changing. Try that out for size. We've had women who have come into our workshop ready to quit every single second. And of course, we help them slow down that because that's hardly ever the best way to go. We want you to learn how to navigate difficulty. We want you to learn how to take responsibility and stop pointing the finger at everyone else who's done something wrong. Get into your full power, which means take the masks off and get into your authenticity, and then be able to navigate things differently. It's amazing how people change when you begin to do the inner work. You change, and all of that out there changes. Wow, what a concept. What a concept. Some of our greatest success stories have told us that their personal relationships have gotten so good, so almost perfectly aligned as they've gotten into their soul's truth and they've gotten into more of their own personal self-love. You see, if you're sort of nagging yourself on the inside, if you're down on yourself on the inside and you're expecting someone on the outside to love you better, it's a mismatch. The truth is, You have to love yourself in such a deep, meaningful way that other people will match that. So you've got to be aware of the masks that you're wearing. You've got to take self-responsibility. And then you have to love you. That's the recipe for success in life, folks. You heard it here. It's a simple process. What's so hard about it is that we have psychological defenses. We have neurological embedded trauma patterns. Job trauma is something that I talk about all the time, that we get from bully bosses, we get from being laid off, we get from being denied promotions, we get from bosses or companies breaking their promises to us. It's literally a trauma pattern because we have this reflex of no, not again. No, not again. No, no. And we become like a scared animal. That's embedded in your nervous system. And some of the techniques that we use in our workshop help the nervous system to heal and process through those traumas. Sometimes when we talk to women and we help coach them into a greater role, they're already anticipating ahead of time the burdens, the extra work. No, I can't possibly be a VP. That will be so much more work. And I say to them, no, no, no. No, no, no. Being a VP is less work. You could make it more work by being a dysfunctional, disorganized, broken person. And maybe you've seen people be a vice president that have been dysfunctional and broken, and they have hurt people and been a jerk to others as a vice president. That doesn't mean that's how you do vice president. There are plenty of vice presidents out there who have their act together, who have taken their masks off, who have taken self-responsibility, who have brought their authenticity forward, and who love themselves. So if you're working for someone who loves themselves, guess what? They're going to love you too. Yep, that's what's going to happen. I've just given you every declaration of truth that you could know about life and managing your career at a higher, better level. Let's review those 3 specific steps, and then I'll give you a 4th one. Number 1, you have to take your masks off. You have to begin shedding the protective gear. It's not helpful. It doesn't make you look any better, and you just become to wilt on the inside. So you got to take your masks off. Number 2, you have to take self-responsibility. You have to own your path and your truth and what it is that you want in life. No one else will do it for you. No one else should be doing it for you. And when you don't take self-responsibility, everyone else is at fault for what you don't have. Clear that up. Take self-responsibility. Number 3, you got to love yourself better. You got to bring it in and you got to love yourself. And when you're in your soul, after taking off the masks and taking self-responsibility, it's going to be much easier for you to love yourself. As a matter of fact, it becomes natural. Once you take the masks off and begin to heal that broken self, your masks coming off, you taking self-responsibility will begin to engender some self-love. Some self-love. Here's the 4th extra bonus points. You ready? If you're a client, you know this one. You know it's coming. You know it. Are you ready? You got to be in a state of gratitude. Boom! Throw it down, Mo. You got to be in a state of gratitude. And I'm going to tell you this. If you're wearing masks, there's no way you're truly in gratitude. If you're wearing masks, you might be popping on that gratitude mask and being like, yeah, I'm in gratitude. Yeah, I'm grateful for everything. Yeah, I'm so grateful for everything. I'm feeling it. Yeah, grateful, grateful, grateful. Yeah. But deep down inside, that soul is kicking and screaming for being real. So gratitude is not a practice. It is a feeling. And if you're not in your feeling state of authenticity, you are not feeling gratitude. If you are putting another mask on because you're so bent out of shape inside, You know that you should be putting this mask of gratitude on. Okay, I guess I better do my gratitude. All right. I'm grateful for the sky. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for everything. I'm just grateful for everything. Okay, is that enough? Come on. Can I just move on? Can I just be miserable now? Your practice of gratitude is not the same as feeling gratitude. Feeling that deep sense of happiness within. You can't do it without loving yourself. So I'm going to take you through the steps again. And they're in order. Okay, I'm making this really easy. These steps are in order. For more success, and you're like, whoa, is that money, Mo, or is that like feeling successful? For more success, how you want to define it. Number one, begin to take off the masks. Number two, practice, execute on personal responsibility. You are the number one and only person who's going to fix what's wrong in your life. That's it. Number three, love yourself. Yep. Some of the toughest work there is to love who we are. And you were made in the likeness and image of your creator. So guess what? You're absolutely infinitely lovable. I know that, and I may not have even met you yet, but I know that deep down inside, there's this absolutely lovable, amazing soul self. And number four, be in a state of gratitude. Feel it. Again, you can't do number four if you're in number one. Mask, mask, mask means that if you're trying to do gratitude when you're in the mask version of you, it's a mask. Oh, that's so uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable to pretend gratitude. And you know what? It's so freeing to be in gratitude. When you literally feel your heart and your soul and your entire body open up and energize. When you feel grateful. When you feel truly happy to be alive. Now, I know a lot of women we talk to on our complimentary career clarity calls oftentimes are telling us that they don't feel that way at all. As a matter of fact, sometimes they get a wake-up call from the kids in the back seat when they're driving them to or from place and say, Mommy, how come you're not happy? Yeah. Mommy, how come you're not happy? How come you've let those masks linger on you and you have been depleted by blaming others for your situation? You've become depleted and empty by not loving yourself. And if you do throw out a dose of gratitude, it's either short-lived or it's not authentic. Please know that today I'm urging you to do the first step, and that is to be aware of the masks and begin shedding the masks. I think there's no better analogy on this than when I was a little girl and wore a mask for Halloween. Not all my costumes include masks. I was actually once a Catholic nun for Halloween. That did not include a mask. So when you have those plastic masks that you're wearing and you're breathing and rebreathing your own air, those plastic masks get really hot and uncomfortable. That is the analogy of what it feels like to wear a psychological mask. You are getting really uncomfortable under there. But what happens is you keep adapting to it because you think you have to keep it on in order to live, to survive. You got to keep the mask on. You got to keep pretending. Don't do that. Don't do that one more day longer than you already have. Life is short. Life is fleeting. Life is in cycles. So let's review the 4 steps, and I want you to write down for yourself right now, today, the steps that you're going to take to do this. And one of them could include booking your complimentary clarity call. We're going to have a discussion behind the mask. mofall.com/liveclarity. If you're a client of mine, please take this as a bonus reminder of the 4 things that are going to keep freeing you up, because this is a lifestyle. Coming into your authenticity is not a transaction where you just do it and it's done. No. There's layers. Okay, so number one, you got to identify those masks that you're wearing and appreciate and understand that they served a purpose, no longer needed. Now, you may need some of those masks to navigate the next step, which is to take full responsibility. Okay, full responsibility means I'm going to take action on releasing some of my masks. I'm going to take action on doing the things I have to do in my life to make my life what I want my life to be. Number three, I'm going to love myself. Flaws, warts, problems, traumas, whatever it is, I'm loving myself because of it all. Not in spite, but because of it. Because I have gone through all of what I've gone through, and I am still, for the love of God, for the grace of God, on this earth to do more and to be more and to make more of my purpose and my passion. I love myself. I love myself. Say it. Write a journal page about why and how you love yourself. Come on, go for it. This is exactly what your Creator wants you to feel. This is exactly why you were brought on earth, is to love yourself so that you can be awesome. And as you're becoming and being awesome, you get to have a better role of awesomeness for others. You can't do that with the masks on. You can't do that with blaming other people about your life. And you certainly can't do it if you don't really deeply love who you are. And number four, be in gratitude. Don't just practice it. Don't just say it. Be in gratitude. Now you got those 4 steps. I want you to give yourself action items on each of those 4 steps. Go ahead. And I know sometimes I get negative comments from people. I get, sort of general, what you're going to expect on social media. Maybe people have a clarity call and they get pissed off that we talked about the truth, or that my workshop actually is an investment, and they get all sort of sideways. I'm going to tell you this. I love you because of that. I love you because you're trying to do something better and different for yourself, for your future, for your family. And I want to say this to you. Keep on going. It's a journey that has some pitfalls. It's a journey that you're going to have to recognize some of the ugliness that's inside of you, some of the ugliness that has been done to you. When we step into it as a warrior, we can move through it. If we keep a mask on and pretend that we're not hurt, we can't do anything about it. It's like when we have our mask on, we've got both of our hands tied behind our back. You're going to have to release one of those hands. That's a self-responsibility. Start taking the masks off. I am encouraging you today to begin to take action, to remove your masks, take self-responsibility, love yourself more deeply than ever, and to feel gratitude. We are all here to make this world a better place. And I know that that's your purpose and your passion. How will you do it? What will you do that will express the bigger, higher version of you so that your life is a bigger impact and a positive influence on others, not just your kids, coworkers, people you meet and greet in the grocery store, people on the roads? Are you cutting people off, or are you letting them in? Are you graciously greeting people, or are you in your own business and not even paying attention to the human beings around you? I want today's Facebook Live, or if you're listening to me on a podcast a few weeks down the road, to really take in the fact that this human race requires you to be you, requires you to love you, and this human race needs you. We need that best version of you to make your impact in the world, make your total purpose of this world come alive. Do not underplay what that means for your life and for the rest of us. We need you. We need you without your masks on. We need you to take full responsibility for who you want to be. We need you to love yourself. And we need you to be feeling that state of gratitude, because the best things come your way when you're truly there, when you're in that flow and it's unfolding. And you can truly say without pretending that my life is unfolding in perfect harmony, that everything always works out for me, that I can truly embrace the fact that my double mastectomy and breast cancer 14 years ago was the very thing that forged my deep understanding of my soul. And because of that unrelenting experience, I've come into my fullest power. I've come into my passion, and I've come up with a formula that can help other women. You don't need breast cancer. You don't need a diagnosis, a disease, a divorce, a disaster. You can do it by design. You can be ahead of it by taking responsibility, by loving yourself, by loving your future self. How's that for a concept? If you're one of my clients, we've helped you with that from the very first thing we do. Loving your future self. What would she do? What would she want you to do today? How many masks would she encourage you to pull off? I bet every single one of them. She wants you to do it smarter. She wants you to do it more real. And she wants you to find the people who are going to help you. You don't have to have all the answers, but you need to lean into the answers. That's what responsibility looks like. It doesn't mean you're the only one doing it. It means you're finding the people who can help you. Again, back to my sports analogy. That top quarterback is sitting on the bench analyzing his last few plays with experts hovered around him, helping him see things. And you know what he's doing? Yeah, right, okay, yeah, gotcha. Oh, you're right, that's what that was going on. Oh, yeah, that's right, right. Experts coming together to guide you. It could be me and my team. It could be someone else. Get the help. Get the experts surrounding you as a conscious, committed team, being with you on your journey. Take a mask off. Take responsibility. Love yourself and be in gratitude. That is what I ask you to be aware of this week, and for your own sake and for the sake of all of us who will win on you being the best version of you. Rock on with your week. It's a mask-free week. It's a self-responsibility week. It's a self-love week, and it's a gratitude week. I would love to hear how you've conquered and achieved and brought yourself forward on these aspects this week. Please feel free to comment. We love your comments. We love who you are. We love that you're here. I am super, super grateful to be able to get this message out to you and to help inspire you for the best week ever. Have a great week. It's mofall.com/live clarity if you'd like to book a call. mofall.com/FB live. If you have not seen my masterclass on the full steps we take our clients through, you can watch that masterclass, mofall.com/FB live. But today, take responsibility, book a complimentary clarity call so we can help you see behind the masks, mofall.com/live clarity. We're here for you, and we've got experts waiting by to talk to you about your career, and we're here to help. This is Coach Mo Fall. We'll see you next time.